Hi everybody, I'm here to tell you about the health and wellness trend I chose today, which is the idea of having a plant-based everything diet. This means that all your foods are strictly made of plants and other fruits and vegetables. What it is. This health trend relates to primarily focusing on foods made from and of plants. This does not mean you're only going to eat vegetables and fruits. It also relates to things such as nuts, oils, beans, grains, and stuff like that. Anything that's really grown. Also, it does not mean you're vegan or vegetarian, because you still have a choice if you want to eat meat or if you do not want any meat. It's ultimately your choice. It doesn't have a strict guideline that says you cannot eat meat. So in this picture, it is showing you just different types of food that you could eat, like broccoli, nuts, mushrooms, sweet potatoes, some kind of rice, and I provided a short video explaining about if a plant-based diet is good for you, or if it really doesn't change anything. Since choosing a plant-based diet, there's really not a manufacturer claim, because ultimately you can do this on yourself, and you can go pick up all the vegetables at a grocery store and make your own food. But there has been some claims made that say people are more likely to adopt a plant-based diet, and more restaurants and popular chains are including more plant-based options for people to choose from. I know that Burger King has the Impossible Burger, and McDonald's recently is starting to add more plant-based options to their menu, because there's over 80% of the world is starting to look more into having a plant-based diet instead of eating mostly meats. Now it's strictly plants and other items like that. The scientific evidence. Some of the scientific evidence that I researched showed that in having a plant-based diet, it's cost effective, because one, you will probably be making more of your foods. You're not going to go out to a restaurant every night, because some, like McDonald's, are not going to start having more plant-based options for people that don't eat meat regularly. So it'd just be easier to stay home, so you'll buy your own food and you can meal prep for the week. It has low risk interventions. It lowers your BMI, lowers blood pressure and cholesterol levels. It could also reduce the number of medications you have to use. And in this, it means that people with different chronic illnesses, I know for one example, it could be Crohn's disease, because with having Crohn's disease, it's an inflammation of your stomach and your intestines. And by changing to a plant-based option, it can help reduce the inflammation in your intestines and help you absorb more nutrients, ultimately, and improving your health better. It's also good for your heart, because it lowers heart disease mortality rates. The biggest question is, does it really work? There's been many views on a plant-based diet, and some are good, some are bad. It just really depends on what you eat and how much you eat of it. If you're strictly just eating sweet potatoes after sweet potatoes and only sweet potatoes, then you're not going to get the other benefits that you might need. So it just really depends on which plants you choose to eat and see which benefits that can provide to you, especially since you will be lacking some supplements that you get from meats and other proteins. And also, in order to see results that you want, you have to stick to it. You can't cheat and you can't change your diet every other week. You need to stick to one and see how it's working for you. Some of the perceived benefits, they include a decrease in saturated fat intake, increase in fiber intakes, because vegetables are very high in fiber, especially certain ones you choose to eat. There is disease prevention, especially with the different supplements you're getting from those foods you were choosing to eat instead of eating more processed foods, which could cause more diseases. It makes it easier to absorb nutrients, and also this is because it helps reduce inflammation in your stomach and helps your digestive tract better. It reduces inflammation, also supports your immune system because you're eating better options for your body, so it's not as bad as other foods you put in. The side effects or threats to health. Some of the side effects include weight gain. I know that it's called a diet, but actually you can gain weight from it. And this also, back to what I said before, is depending on what food you choose, how much you eat of each food, and are you sticking to one certain diet or are you adding many different ones together. It can also cause high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and I know that these can be like pros of limiting and reducing these, but it also can higher them depending on the way you choose to go about the diet. You can also have bloating, which bloating occurs with most every food, but especially since this one's high in fiber, it can lead to gas, constipation, diarrhea. It just is a natural side effect to what you are changing your body. You're getting all the toxins out, especially with eating more healthier options. Some of the pros and the cons for having a plant-based everything diet. The pros would include it improves the health of your stomach. It would lower your cholesterol, stabilize your blood pressure and sugar, blood pressure and blood sugar. It'll improve your bowel movements, and all this is because it really does promote a healthier gut overall. But the cons, it requires you to change your whole eating habits, which is hard for some because you are so used to eating meats for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and you don't know how you're going to just live without them. So you'll slowly get into it. It's not something you can just jump right into, like taking diet pills or going to the gym every day. You really have to slow yourself into just weaning off meat. So that's also come along with the adaptation portion of it. So you just have to adapt to what you have, what you can work with, and what types of foods you can eat. Also, another con is the long preparation for the food. You have to go buy the vegetables, cook them, prep them, make it, especially because it's kind of hard when a lot of options aren't provided for restaurants where you can just go through the drive-thru and get it. One last con is that you do not receive as many supplements as you have or need because you're lacking in certain areas, especially because you are eating certain vegetables that you choose, especially all of them contain different vitamins and nutrients that you may need. And here are my sources. I hope that everyone sees that more people are leaning towards a plant-based everything diet, which is good in some ways, but it could be bad. It kind of depends on who the person is and how willing they are to make a change, because change for some people is very hard, and especially when you're in a routine, it's hard to change that. I feel that having a plant-based everything diet would be beneficial in some ways, but some ways it could have a negative impact, especially on how people go about it. But I hope y'all have a good day. Thank you.